Hello and welcome everybody. How are you all? We had intended to do a live and I got my Zoom links mixed up. So we're just going to do a recorded today, which is just as potent and powerful. And for those of you watching, I just invite you to take a moment to join us in this beautiful container, taking an inhalation through the nose and out through the mouth. And these videos are short, powerful bursts of inspiration, activation, innovation, creation, as we are in a very potent time frame and timeline right now, as we are in the run-up to the 21st of December 2020 and in the run-up to the 2021 gateway, shifting out of the 2020 annual year of incredibleness and craziness. And so with that, I introduce to you Solara Rose and myself, Zoe Davenport. You've probably seen us before if you've been following our journey and our videos. And I was talking with Solara before we hit record, what is going to be most potent to talk about today? And instantly what dropped in, two things. One, about how to really utilize these energies and frequencies that are hitting the planet right now to make the best of our third dimensional experience and shifting in and out of those 3D, 5D frequencies. And also about the containers that we set when we're letting go of things and how we can be allowing ourselves to simultaneously receive things at the same time. So put simply, we're letting go of what no longer serves, that density, but filling back in with light. And I had a quick conversation with Solara before this as well, and she was sharing, wow, it's incredible. I'm shifting so much, and it's almost as soon as I'm shifting, I'm bringing that light in the form of experiences and abundance and opportunities. So, Solara, I'd love for you to touch more on that. And beautiful. Yay.
Yeah, it's so exciting. You know, I was just sharing with Zoe that just even in the past several days, such potency and magnitude of creations, just massive releases, and simultaneously just crystallization of just these beautiful, strong desires that I have had in my heart, in my soul, that I've been nourishing in my visionary space, and that have such deep significance to me, just phase in. It's like a world dropping into a world. And I'm still kind of in this space of like awe and astonishment at all of it, where I'm just with it. I mean, the way that I experience it, simultaneity is what we start to get into. And that's really what flow is, because it's all happening simultaneously. And so do not like hold on to any of it for too long, just to like give thanks for all of it constantly, and just stay here and now, stay here and now. Just keep returning to the inner home temple, like here now, because really ultimately at the expanded levels and at the micro meta levels too, everything is light. Everything is all already that. So it's just our sacred self-reminder to continuously return to that space of actualized divine sovereignty, of wholeness, of beauty, of light, of perfection, of the cosmic design, and aligning to it over and over and over again, and just staying with the flow of our creation.
I love that. I love that. And you hit the nail on the head when you were sharing about coming back to your inner temple. And, you know, particularly this year, there's been so much that has been pulling us out of alignment, out of ourself, out of our center, out of our knowing, and following the mainstream narrative and following the storylines of others and following the fear-based potentials, and really just coming back into the sense of self and the power of the breath are two of the most powerful tools that we can be using every day. It's like, you know, quantum physics is not, it's not rocket science. It's actually very easy to understand when we understand the power of the breath and intention and where our focus is. And the mind can't wrap around its head what it doesn't understand on the physical plane, but nurturing that in a temple, right? And really bringing it home, bringing it into the body, bringing it into the awareness of the breath through the body, and anchoring in, what is my vision? What am I calling in? What is serving me? What am I shifting out of? And loving the person that we're at wherever we are as well, because I find that we can collectively have a kind of future projection where we're always trying to get to said next place of our reality, and we really forget to come into the presence. Like, how present can we be in this moment? Like, nothing else exists beyond this current fabric of time, space, reality, this conversation, even as presence as the exact word that we're speaking. And within that, we find that space, that spaciousness in which to cultivate and grow and nurture and love and adore a different concept, a different timeline, a different version of events and sequences and manifestations. And, you know, this week in particular, everything is so amplified because of this sheer magnitude of light that's hitting the planet. Yeah. And, you know, there's almost like a story that I see. I don't know what your thoughts on this, Solara, but there's a story I see in a spiritual community like, oh, how was that eclipse for you? And how was that, those gateways? And it's almost like this, oh my gosh, it's like, how can we lean in to those frequencies? And the second piece of that I'm noticing is, you know, and I share this a lot with my clients because they say, oh, you know, I was feeling all this energy and it was, you know, it was so much energy and I shut it down because, you know, I've got a ground. And I'm like, no, like we need to be feeling the full expression of the energy that wants to flow through us, because that's where change happens. It's actually turning ourselves on as energetic beings. It's like imagining like a light ship that's not able to travel at the speed of light because it's run out of plasma, right? Yeah. And plasma being that thing that helps us soar. So as we take care of our bodies, we're activating that plasma and then we're able to travel, but we're not used to it, right? And it's like, that's what we've got to be bridging in and out of this 3D construct and this 5D potential that we talk about. And you are probably one of the most gifted people I know when it comes to understanding beyond what's here. You know, you really are. And just even just your journey and your stories and just your playfulness with life, right? And that's another thing, is bringing that playfulness in. So
oh, absolutely. Well, there's so much juice and meat and everything that you just shared. And I'm like, I just want to, all the things, I want to unpack all the things. So a couple of things. One, it's continuous mobility. It's what flow is. It's staying mobile and active. And then also recognizing when our body is calling for us to receive deep regenerative delta sleep so that we can have that fuel and that recharge when we get back up to live life again. But for me, it's just always coming back to the here and now. And I am just choosing over and over again to be in relation with the divine. And I'm constantly speaking to divine, to that quantum universal fabric of divine intelligence, having dialogue, having communication, laser focused on what it is that I'm doing, designing, creating, and experiencing. It's like piercing to the quintessential core and the heart of reality. And I'm just so in it. And there is a level of like, it's playful ferocity, but I'm so devoted to that. And so I notice where there's any sticking points in my mind, if I'm holding on to anything, and I just constantly remind myself, let go, return to center, return to the perfection of now, and just keep moving. And a lot of that too is how I have a lot of room and spaciousness for flow and play and creation and adventure in my life. But I am also hyper structured around my priorities, my heavens. Yes, these are my priorities in my journey of self-creation. This is what I know that I absolutely must do daily to nourish and care for myself, my creations, my clients, my community, my loved ones, all of that. And it's just so dialed. And my environment is the same way. I just have it so dialed. So there's not all of these open tabs in my mind, which allows me to also continuously calibrate. And to speak into, you know, what you're talking about with, there are astrological influences. So one of the ways I love to relate this is if we look at how, you know, the moon affects the tides of the ocean, right? That's a phenomenally powerful pull. If it can affect the tides of 90% of our Earth's composition, that massive body of water, and raise and lower its tides. But a frame for that, for me, I get so excited when there's massive planetary, I'm just enthralled. I'm so excited because I know the trajectory that we're headed in, because the evolutionary impulse of life is expansion, is creation, is love, harmony, beauty, abundance, synergy. It's all of these things. And so the self, the wider self, is always emerging in that directionality. So there's massive hope for us, because no matter what, life, that most intelligent, expanded part of our being, of our intelligence, our genius, it knows, and it is here supporting us. So if we can just surrender into it, and I actually surrender into the beauty, the majesty, the awe, and the wonderment of those planetary alignments, instead of shutting off from the energy and distracting, doing all the things we do to self-distract or avert, just being with the full receptivity of the energies and just breathing them in, letting them drench us and penetrate us. Those are such beautiful, mystical, sacred spaces. So in this dream that I had several nights ago, actually, there was a massive tidal wave, and I have never seen a tidal wave this big ever in my imaginary scapes, my dreamscapes, in life, even in the most phenomenally large waves. And I saw it coming, and I had this just glorious sensation of deep, expansive peace and warmth in my being. I mean, it was massive, and it was coming. Like, there was nothing I was going to do to stop the wave. And none of us really. And there was, I think you might have been one of the people in the dream, but there were several people and myself, and there was a house, and it was our home. And we opened the door, like we saw the tidal wave coming, and then we just peacefully walked into the house. And the awareness that I had was that the wave, I mean, just massive incoming wave, was we were going to be right beneath of it, like the still point beneath the wave. Like, we were still going to be engulfed by it, but we were going to be beneath the riptide. And I knew it was all good. It was all okay. So there's so much symbology in that for life, when things come, to just return back to that space, as you were mentioning. And that's how we access a virtue, really, is through the space of our breath. Just take a moment and whole body engagement, just filling your cells and allowing your cells to expand out. It's one of the most rapid, accessible ways to come back into total synergy and alignment. And there's a lot of science around what that does for our energy and our brain and our field, but it synchronizes and synergizes everything anywhere between 10 to 30 seconds of deep whole body breathing. So, there's lots of tools that we have, and we're always at choice, right? So to give our power away to any other element of creation is not really fully owning our infinite source, divine creatorship, and sovereign autonomy to decide and direct our experience. And that's that power that we sometimes try to avert being in, but it's the ultimate liberation.
Yeah. Because I feel it's, I think there was such a fear that, people go too far, or they're out of their bodies. But actually, you can have that amount of connection to your multidimensional self and be extremely grounded and extremely present and extremely in your body and very connected to your body. And I think perhaps kind of 10 years ago, there was like the thing, around the spiritual communities, especially with something like Reiki, you have a Reiki session, they open you up, they do the Reiki, and then what happens is like, okay, close your energy back down, protect your bubble, be small. And it's like, no, fuck that. We need to be expanding. And the thing is that we're able to be embodied more in our bodies now, so we can feel this massive amount of energy and light waves and pulsations running through our system, cleansing, clearing, purifying, and activating and up-leveling our level of awareness of what reality is, based on a 3D vision or a 5D vision, or bringing in that 6D vision or that 7D vision or that 12D vision to help us in the here and now. And it's through that wave of breath work and energy that we're able to access those different touch points of ourselves. And it's really interesting what you were sharing about the wave, because yesterday I had a session with a friend of mine. And during the session, I'm sat there and I'm visualizing, and suddenly I'm in this like stark desert. It's almost like where an ocean bed used to be. But it was a stark desert wasteland, and there were all these kind of like weird kind of creatures like walking around, and it's just like, oh, they kind of need to go. They need to get cleared out. And it's like I was sat in the stillness, and then suddenly this huge tsunami just came out of nowhere, and just in my vision, and just basically just washed everything clean. And I was just still there, like feeling the water rushing through my system. So it's interesting you're having these visions as well. It's like, well, I mean, there's no, of course you are, right? Of course we are. We're connected. So well, it's just been great, Solara, to just, you know, drop in with you again and share this information with our wider community. And, you know, for those of you watching and listening and resonating, and you're feeling something in your body and you're like, wow, I just want to learn more. I want to know more. I have more questions. We're making these transmissions in the run up to our Flow Optimized Mastermind that we're going to be running in January. So if you want any details of that, reach out to us personally. We have a link to book in for a consult chat. We'll send you the application form. It's going to be a very small group, very intimate, very powerful. We're going to be together for 3 months, meeting weekly with masterminding and just sharing a lot more of these tools, but in detail, and just really working together in a divine circle. Sorry, I don't know if you want to add to that as well.
I'm so excited.
Me too.
I just feel this like holiday cheer and splendor and delight and mysticism around the whole container. And I'm so excited for all of us. And I actually just really want to honor and reinforce what you just channeled through, because it's so powerful. Staying expanded while also being deeply, potently, palpably anchored, grounded, and present in our physical body. And that's really the essence of the diamond octave. There is one eternal now. So I often see it like a disco ball too. Every potential, timeline, possibility, reality exists here and now as a facet of awareness, of possibility. And when we expand our consciousness out, we can access those possibilities, potentials, and timelines through our expanded awareness, but still be deeply somatically connected to the physical sensation of our body. So the distinguishment there is keep your eyes open, your awareness expanded, but also stay attuned to the sensations and the feelings of your body. So as you're moving through life, all of your body is engaged. So there's no disconnection. The awareness is up here, but the body's not grounded. So we stumble around, and we feel light and disembodied. So it's having both online at the same time. And I think that's a very valuable insight that you just channeled through, because that's a key piece in what expanded embodiment really looks and feels like. So thank you. Thank you for bringing awareness to that. Beautiful. We love you all so much. Thank you for sharing this beautiful sacred space with us. And we're excited to deliver some more micro doses of love to you.
Amazing. Thank you, Solara. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Talk soon. Mwah.